Whoa! Welcome to the What's Up Verdict podcast, where we fashion ourselves cinematic judge and jury. My name is JJ Crowder. I'm here with my co-host, Alec Burgess.
Let's get it.
Yeah, we appreciate you tuning in. Go ahead, hit that follow, subscribe, like, bell notification button. Hit all those buttons. Help you follow up, keep up with our episodes. We release a lot. Tell a friend about us. Help us grow the podcast. Tell a treasure hunter about us. Or a really dumb beach jockey. We like those guys too. So
Definitely.
Or some combination of the two works. Or really smart hot chick. That'll work as well. We're okay with any of those. If you couldn't tell by who we were telling you to tell about us,
that was very vague.
Yeah, it was very vague and a lot of opportunity there. But we're reviewing Fool's Gold. It was released.
You could just hear part of JJ's soul leave his body as he said that on his precious podcast. We're reviewing Fool's Gold.
The disdain in my fucking soul. I couldn't hide it there. It hurt me, which is ironic, which we'll talk about in a minute. But yeah, it was released February 8th, 2008. It was written by John Claflin and Daniel Zellman. It was directed by Andy Tennant. It stars Matthew McConaughey, Kate Hudson, Alexa Zienia, Ewan Bremer, Ray Winstone. Apparently, God damn it. Alexa.
Hi, Alexa.
What a bitch. Can't even. So apparently I can't say the name Alexis. Okay. Let me go back here. Stars. I gotta leave this. It's just perfect for this fucking episode of Guilty Pleasures Part 3. Matthew McConaughey, Kate Hudson, Alexis. Don't. Zienia, Ewan Bremner, Ray Winstone, Malcolm Jamal Warner, Brian Hooks, Kevin Hart, and Donald Sutherland. Jesus. A new clue to the whereabouts of a lost treasure rekindles a married couple's sense of adventure and their estranged romance. It's a great synopsis. Okay, look.
Pretty much.
So I have to explain. First of all, sorry about her. I didn't think about the fact that name was going to trigger her, though it was good comedy. Especially because she immediately started talking about a podcast. Like the irony of that is great. Anyway, look, I went into this movie. So when we did our list and we got Charles, our Patreon votes came in and this movie was voted on. I remember going and seeing in this movie. I was 27. Casey and I went and saw it together. Like, I love Matthew McConaughey. I like Kate Hudson.
She looks good.
Yeah, mostly I like Kate Hudson. I love a lot of this cast. Ray Winstone's fabulous. Like, he's one of my favorite actors. Like, Donald Sutherland, let's just get that out there. He's crazy good. But I don't know if I thought this was a different movie or an amalgamation of a couple of movies that these two are in, but I was watching this going, did I like this movie? Like, I kept looking over at Casey going, didn't we enjoy this when we I could have sworn I remember leaving going, this was fun. The fuck did I watch in 2008? Like, I was just like, this must be different, or I've just gotten older, and so my ability to be entertained is a little different.
You've lost that adventuresome spirit, is what it
could
is.
It could be because this movie kind of broke me. I was like, wow, they should be ashamed. Like this movie's rough. And again, but I was appreciative too because I was like, well, okay, it fits within our theme of guilty pleasures. Like, I get it. It's guilty.
Yep.
But I have to ask, so to start, what is it about this movie that you find the pleasure side of guilty pleasure in? Because I was trying real hard to find it.
No, it's very good. That's a fair question. So we'll talk a little bit more about this in detail later, but it's a combination of several things, right? It's this almost very bland, subtle comedy humor. To where I think that actually one of the best on-screen relationships is Matthew McConaughey and Ewan Bremner. And they're just talking. And it's, like the scene where they're playing with the sword and cleaning it off. And then it's like, was that a yellow and white, seaplane or whatever? And more like banana and cream.
That's fair. That's fair.
And so it's just kind of this, so that gets me. And then I've always enjoyed like tropical backdrops. And so like treasure hunting in Florida, because I saw this first when I was 15 or 16. So it's like one of those like, oh, I know what I'm going to do with my life. I'm going to move to Florida and be a treasure hunter.
I love it. I can see that about you.
Right. And so I was like, oh, this is perfect. So that's it's a combination of a couple different things, but those would be the two biggest ones. Is that you have this kind of dry, subtle, really kind of almost bland comedy mixed in with the fact that, yes, treasure hunting in Florida sounds amazing. Can't see any downside to it. They do romanticize it quite a bit. Like, I'm pretty sure it's typically just some old dude with a metal detector on the beach walking back and forth and everything like that. But this movie makes it seem a lot more exciting.
Yeah.
So that's where the pleasure comes into it. But is this like my last pick? Is this a good movie? Absolutely not.
Shit. Yeah, it's something.
It definitely is. But I will tell you, kind of the standout for me, Kevin Hart.
Yeah.
Because he's gotten pretty big, the last 5-6 years or something like that. Landed big roles, really stepped it up in the movie kind of scene. But this was one of the first ones that he did. At least one of the first bigger parts where he plays like a, supporting character, very prominent role.
Yeah.
And he cracks me up.
Yeah, he's pretty funny.
Like the whole acting like the Godfather with the bunny rabbit because his character's name's Big Bunny and just petting this rabbit.
Oh yeah.
He's got this almost like a mobster character to play, but Kevin Hart's like 5'2", and they don't hide his height to make him look taller than he is in this at all. They show off the fact that he's shorter than everybody.
Yeah.
And so I hope this is one of the roles that put him on the map because he does a really good job in it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he's funny.
His performance is probably one of the better ones out of anybody.
Yeah. He is funny. Well, and I laugh too because like the first time you see him, like you say, he's got this big ass rabbit in his lap. And like he's terrified of animals. Like in real life. Like if you've ever some of the funniest clips on the internet, if you watch like Jimmy Fallon, if you go to like YouTube and Google Jimmy Fallon with Kevin Hart and the animals, like they even do this one where like if you get a question wrong, like they put rabbits in your lap or whatever, and like he loses his shit over this albino rabbit that's got the red eyes, and he's freaking out and screaming, and I think some of it's for comedy purposes, right? But like he's afraid of animals. So I was just laughing as I saw it. I was like, I wonder how long it took him to get that take.
I hope this rabbit is what gave him his fear of animals. Like he was fine until he met, Sprinkles, the 87-pound rabbit.
It's great. Yeah, there's a great clip of him on Jimmy Fallon where like the crocodile hunter's kid is on, you know what I'm talking about with the spider, and he's yelling at Jimmy while Jimmy's holding the tarantula. Jimmy, it's fucking great. Yeah, dude, that's some of the funniest shit. I think Kevin Hart's hilarious, and I forgot he was in this. Like, I forgot a lot about this movie apparently, but like, I was laughing at him because he's another one that he's a lot like Jack Black in that there's nobody like him. You know what I mean? Like he stands out, and he stood out in this movie even as little as he was in it. Like just the funny one-liners, the little weird physical comedy shit. Yeah,
how many times I gotta kill this guy?
Yeah. What I love too, like when he closes the plane, there's a part where you can't hear him, but you can hear him in your head, like screaming through the window of the plane.
God damn it!
Yeah. This motherfucker. Yeah, I can just imagine it. So yeah, he's a highlight for sure of this movie. I will say too before we move on to the next piece, but that like another thing that got me, you talking about the whole treasure hunter thing, and I laughed because like one of my favorite guilty pleasures is God, what's the one with oh now my mind just did one of those go blank things. Face Off. What's his name?
John Travolta.
No, the other part of Face Off.
Nicolas Cage.
Yeah, what he did like the whole treasure hunter with like the
National Treasure.
National Treasure. Yeah. That's one of my guilty pleasures because both those movies are horrible, but I love them. Like I love them, and like that piece of it was like for me like this was one of those only worse. Like when they're on the island, and then it was funny because they just got done mentioning it. Speaking of Kevin Hart, like they talk about this island is owned by Big Bunny, so anything that they find technically in the island is theirs, is his, regardless because he owns it. So like when it's in that blowhole, that's technically part of the island. But then like when he dies, like he falls off this plane, and there's no way he survives that.
Not the way he went in the water.
Yeah, they just show this museum like everything's cool. Like who needs Big Bunny, the owner of this island, anymore? Like I was like, wait, what? You just forgot this dude existed. That was just one of those moments that it made me think about where we were talking about Kevin Hart. I was like, this movie's like National Treasure, only not quite as good to me. But
well, didn't it come out after National Treasure?
I don't know.
I think National Treasure came out like 2006, 2000, something like that. So that might be where the feeling comes from.
Could be 2004. Yeah, so it did come out after
a few years. But oh yeah, no, it's like there's no saying this is a good movie ever. Yeah. And that's not the purpose of it. So, I mean, it was the real reason why I think I first originally watched it was Matthew McConaughey. Take his shirt off.
Sure.
Like,
I mean, that's what
he doesn't have a
is.
shirt for half the movie, and it's wonderful.
Yeah. It's literally like, it's like, okay, we're just going to put shirtless McConaughey and bikinied up Kate Hudson on this movie. And then we're going to add in the A-name girl that I won't say because it'll interrupt the podcast again. The Gemma character in a bikini to compete with her. That's it. Like literally, and look, I'm not complaining. The eye candy in this movie is strong, but yeah, that's really all it is. Like, let's put really fit Matthew McConaughey and a couple of very attractive ladies in bikinis, and we'll call it good.
Oh, 100%. But I will say, like, something that I really love about Matthew McConaughey is all the little sounds he makes, and he does a lot in this movie, and it's. I don't know how to describe it, because it's like when he first gets back to the docks, right? He climbs up the ladder, looks at it, before he starts taking off. Yeah. It's like the little. I hope they're unintentional because it just makes him that much more exciting.
Oh yeah,
where he does it like through when he's delivering his lines too. Mm-hmm. It's the pauses, the hesitations, almost.
Oh yeah,
and. All the little teeny tiny noises that he makes when he's delivering lines or just even on screen. Hilarious. Like, even to the point where, he runs into the lawyer's office and or the judge's office where he's getting divorced, just and he catches his breath.
He's all bent over. Oh, shit.
Or, right before he's about to tell Kate Hudson that he sunk the boat.
Yeah.
Just like, And the little things he does, and he does it in every single one of the movies he's in, is something that I really appreciate about him as an actor. It's the little things he does that just enhance the performance overall.
Yeah.
And there are so many in this movie.
Yeah.
That just make it that much more enjoyable from that pleasure side rather than the guilty side.
Sure. Yeah, I mean, well, and that's the part, and I do laugh at like his little grunts and like I do love when he like freaks out. Like sometimes when he's like, "Hey," like he says "hey" really loud, or like, "What are you doing?" Like his freak out noise is funny. I will give you that. But I love Matthew McConaughey. Like I love most of the cast in this movie. That's the part that like as I was
Baffles
watching,
you,
I was
right?
like, God, this movie's got, and we've talked about this before, but like one of my weirdest things is like I'm always like, how did they get them to do this movie? Like not only McConaughey, like, and I get McConaughey to a degree because this movie was a follow up basically to the success of How to Lose a Guy in 10 Days, because those two on screen are pretty good together, at least in that. They're not as good in this because I don't think the subject matter is as funny as the other. You can't relate to this subject matter as much or as easily as you can How to Lose a Guy in 10 Days, because that one is fucking hysterical from a perspective of men and women and the, you know, men are from Mars, women are from Venus type conversations, right? And you can relate to a lot of what's going on in those movies. Speaking of the like his noises, like when the dog's peeing on it and he's like, "Hey, hey," like, that's one of his great sounds. But like when I think about those two, I'm like, okay, I get why they're in it. They're thinking money. We're going to pay them to be in this film because it'll get people to watch it regardless. They're used to these two together. It looks good. But then you have people like Donald Sutherland. And I'm like, I mean, he's old. He's old now, but he was old then. But I'm like, is he just looking for a paycheck, or he's just bored? Or like, I just don't understand how you get one of the best actors of our generation to be this weird old man with a dumb daughter who is half of the movie like coveting the fact that he wants this like valet to be his actual daughter because she's smart. And I'm like, what is going on? So Donald Sutherland kind of blew my mind in this.
I think I have the answer for that though.
Okay.
Because I imagine their shooting schedule was, I'm going to say, about 9 to 12 weeks. He probably got 9 to 12 weeks on a yacht in Key West.
That's fair. That's fucking fair. Too motherfucking shay, my friend. That's fair.
Like I do it too.
Yep, me too.
That's all you'd have to pay me. Hang out in Key West.
Yep. Just let me go sit in the Caribbean border and on a fucking yacht and with those three people. Like that's got to be entertaining as fuck.
Oh yeah.
And the cooks, because those guys are funny as balls too.
Oh sure, attack your friends.
Yeah.
The two people who love you.
He's more of a man than you'll ever be. Like, oh shit. I love it.
But that would be my guess for Don Sutherland.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, just the opening shots in this, first of all, don't set the scene for what to expect from the movie.
No, they don't.
But it is gorgeous.
It's true.
Like that area of the world Caribbean, but right up, just off the Florida coast. Oh, man.
It's gorgeous. It's gorgeous. I don't want to hang out with most of the people down there, but it's gorgeous.
Yeah, 100%. And so I that would be my guess, because there's no way you could ever think this would be a huge hit. It's, oh, I get to go hang out in Key West. Yeah.
That's fair.
Or he was already there.
That could be true too.
And they're like, hey, you want to be in a movie?
Maybe snowbirds down there in Florida. Fucking old ass is like, I'm leaving fucking California. It's too hot. I'm gonna go hang out.
So.
Yeah. It's getting cold somewhere. We're going down to Florida. Another one that got me too was like Ray Winstone though. Like, and he plays such a bit part, but like he's one of my favorites. From another one of my guilty pleasures. I've got so many. Have you seen King Arthur, like the weird one?
Yes.
Where he's like, he plays Boars, and like he has one of my favorite lines in all of cinema. Like baby's arm holding an apple. And I love Ray Winstone across the board. So when he comes up in this too, I'm like, God, dude, okay. But again, you lay out a good point. The dude got to sit on maybe not a yacht, but a boat, taking a nap in the fucking Caribbean, and
right.
going scuba diving and snorkeling. That adds a whole dynamic that I didn't really think about to why you might want to be in this movie.
Location. First rule of real estate. First rule of movies, apparently.
Apparently. Oh my gosh. Yeah, I love it. Okay. I will say, so as I'm struggling through this movie, going, what the fuck? My two favorite characters that turned out in this viewing of this movie that I forgot were even in it, didn't even know, were Malcolm Jamal Warner and Brian Hooks, the two gangsters or thugs or cronies that worked for Big Bunny. Dude, I was laughing my ass off at these two. Even like Malcolm Jamal Warner's shitty Caribbean accent. Like, I was like, what is happening right now? Like getting their foot shot and the ear shot. Like, it was too much, dude. I was laughing so hard. And I was like, why are they the funniest part of this movie? Because every time they were on screen, I was laughing.
Oh, yeah. No, they shouldn't be, but they are.
Yeah.
And it really kind of ups the ante. Like, I would even go so far as to say, like, the third gangster they bring in to, like, reorganize everything who kills everybody. It's like, it's funny, too.
Yeah.
Like, it's supposed to be serious in this, like, the overbearing bad guy, but he's funny because he's surrounded by them.
True. He's this like dastardly dude around idiots.
Yeah, it doesn't make any sense.
Yeah. Well, he just instantly clips Malcolm Jamal Warner. Like, I was like, oh fuck. This dude's not fucking around.
Yeah. Restructuring or whatever it calls it.
Oh shit. Yeah, they made me laugh, those two. A lot.
I mean, one of the best scenes in this movie happens 30 seconds in, where they're just chilling on the beach, like enjoying time, watching the boat explode and sink to the bottom.
Oh, shit. That's true. It does have a great opening scene with like the fucking, like almost like that one, the movie where like death is alive. Like it's got that machine that sparks up the paper and it floats around and lights the boat on fire. Boom. Yeah, that shit was great. Well, then they use the boat as a marker later on to find where they found the plate.
I left a marker.
Yeah. Oh, shit. It was good. Speaking of those two idiots, too, I guess there was only one of those idiots left at that point, but it had one of the most gruesome, non-gruesome deaths in any movie with that, like, blowhole and all of a sudden it just spitting up a bunch of blood. I was like, damn. That's gruesome. Like, I forgot a lot about this movie, obviously. I mean, it's been years. But, yeah, I was like, damn, that's brutal. Well, I love that Kevin Hart. Go find out who that was.
Yeah. Excuse me? Or it's like, huh?
Yeah. And that poor fucker gets shot so much. Like, gets shot in the ear. And then he gets like messed up underwater. Yeah, dude, that shit was great, man.
Yeah, he's got a rough life.
Yeah,
like, I would seriously look for other employment.
Yeah, well, he pops up out of the water thinking he's rich and he's got a shotgun to his face. Fuck. Lets it drop. Yeah. So stupid, but I laughed a lot, especially at that guy.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, man. Okay, so I got to hear your subtle humor stuff.
Oh, absolutely.
Because I think I missed some of it.
It's God, you have to be looking for it. And it's one of those things where it's very not a lot of it, right? But it's the like right at the beginning we talked about the boat going down, right? But it shows Matthew McConaughey and Ewan Bremner trying to figure out why the hose isn't working, and then they come up and it's their interaction. Where's the boat?
It's true.
Who took our boat? And it'll come to you, right? Yeah. And then he sits there, thanks, and looks down. It's like, oh no.
That's fair. I will say that I laughed hard when the machine fell and it poofed up and they looked and then they went back to trying to fix the fucking machine that fell. Okay, that was a good one. Touche. That one got me.
And it's mostly those two that do it. And it's because they're such an unlikely pairing.
Yeah.
For both of them. But every time they're in a scene together, it's just funny.
Yeah.
Even to the point where it's like, Ewan Bremner totally sells out Matthew McConaughey to the goons. He didn't buy a new compressor. Can I go now? They start fighting in the water.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it's not a lot of it. Sure. But in a movie like this, you have to find the little things that make you enjoy it.
That's fair.
And so it's those two. 110%. They're back and forth. And even a little bit off screen when Kate Hudson is describing Matthew McConaughey to like anybody.
That's fair.
Talking about him. He's genius at exactly three things: treasure salving, finding money for treasure salving, and the third thing I don't want to talk about.
Yeah. God.
So like it's there, but you gotta go looking for it because it's covered up by such a terrible movie.
Yeah.
That it's hard to find it.
That's
but
fair.
Since this is a guilty pleasure, I gotta find the pleasure in there with the guilt, and that's where it is. It's that kind of subtle, almost non-existent, bland comedy.
Yeah.
That lands every once in a while, but if it doesn't land, you don't notice that it didn't land because you didn't know it's supposed to be comedy in the first place.
That's true. That's fair. I did laugh a lot, like when she comes in trying to serve the meal, the dinner, and he's sitting at the table and she like freaks out, and throwing the plates and shit around, just starts screaming and leaving. She's like, "Well, I take it you didn't end things on a great note." It's like, fuck this. That was funny. And I love how calm Donald Sutherland's character is the whole movie. Like, he's just chill.
No concern whatsoever.
Yeah. Doesn't matter what's happening. Fucking Matthew McConaughey can be getting blown up and thrown into the sky and landing on the wrong boat. And he's just like, good man. Like,
well done.
Yeah, it's just, what the shit? Yeah, he was funny. There was, and then I laughed a lot too, because I'm twisted at the whole fucking sex in the church thing. And then she gets out and she's like all guilty about it. We just had sex in a church.
And we're grave robbing.
Yeah.
She's like, stacks up. Hey, that's a triple sin.
Yeah. Oh, God. Yeah, that part made me laugh quite a bit. Because, like I said, I'm a twisted fuck. So I found some serious humor in that. But
yeah, so it's like it's there, like even to the point where Matthew McConaughey goes to talk to Big Bunny after they find the sword, and he takes the sword with him, the old 1715 last sharpened sword.
It's the last time you sharpened this thing.
1715.
Oh God, that's funny. Yeah, I always forget about that.
It's like it's there, but it's so hidden, and you got to go find a lot of it that at first glance you miss it.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. And to their credit, again, the chemistry between McConaughey and her, that I can never remember her name when I'm trying to, but Kate Hudson, like, it's good.
Oh yeah.
This one wasn't as good as How to Lose a Guy in 10 Days, which also isn't a great movie, but their chemistry makes that movie. This one, like, it has moments of their chemistry, but it's like in the church scene, it works. And then the grave robbing scene, like, their chemistry really works. Like the divorce scene, their chemistry really, really works. And the post-divorce scene when they're out on the street, she smacks him with the old dude's cane. Like, that shit works really well too. So
find a guy who can get through an entire sentence without saying the word definitely. First of all, I hardly ever say that anymore.
Oh God.
The best part of that, though, is after she hits him, she breaks the cane.
Yeah.
And then just hands it,
gives it back to the old man. Yeah. I'm sorry. Just fucking walks away. I laughed too, like the whole, I'm gonna go back to school. How are you gonna pay for that? With my boat. And I love that he leans in. It was a good filming choice too, because he like leans in and whispers so you don't hear it, and then she gets all pissed off. That shit's great. Yeah. It's funny. Oh, 2 for 2 you are, my friend. 2 for 2 you are.
I know.
With guilty pleasures. Time to rate it?
Let's do it.
Okay. I'm gonna give it its due. It's a good guilty pleasure movie. Like, it's one of those ones where, like, I don't find the same pleasure in it that you do, but
Give me the love. Give me the love. Thank you.
But I definitely see the guilty part. And yet at the same time, like, I had a decent time watching the movie. Like, it, and part of the decent movie was I was like belittling myself, going, I swear we liked this movie. Like, the fuck did you like about this movie? Were you really that bad at picking movies when you were fucking 28 years old or 27 years old? Because I don't remember being that fucking bad. And then I was like, maybe I twisted it up. I don't know. But it has funny parts, and I love the cast is great. Like, there's no arguing that it has a stellar cast with mediocre writing and a less mediocre story. It just is what it is, but it's a beautiful view. Like, the visuals are pretty because it's Key West, it's the Caribbean, and it's gorgeous. And I want to own a yacht that's bigger than my house times 2. So I'm down with that. And then there is some, to your point, there is some subtle comedy there that I probably missed a lot of it, but it's funny to hear you talk about it. So kudos there. Oh God, I have to give it better. I didn't think about the rating part till just now, but I think I'm going to give it a 2.5 because it's better than Nacho, but it's still not great. But it serves the purpose of entertainment, and there's some serious eye candy with Matthew McConaughey shirtless 90% of this movie, and Kate Hudson's gorgeous, and Gemma is gorgeous. I almost said her name again, and I was like, oh no, she'll get mad. So yeah, I mean, and then Donald Sutherland's Donald Sutherland. So great choice, my friend, for a guilty pleasure. So I'm going to give it 2.5. I won't watch this again. There's too many other McConaughey and Hudson movies that I could pick from that aren't this. So your turn.
My turn. Okay. Yeah. No, this is a terrible movie. I'm going to give it. I'm actually going to go 2.5 as well. I actually think this is a worse movie than Nacho Libre. Believe it or not.
Wow.
But I think it's 2.5, right? Middle of the road movie.
Yeah.
There's nothing that's so terrible about it that it makes you want to turn it off while you're watching it. You might not understand why you're sitting there watching it. And yes, there's thousands of movies that are better. But at the same time, it's nothing to be like, okay, that's it, I'm done. As far as rewatching goes, I take a long time in between watching this movie. And it's seriously one of those where it's almost like a reminiscing, right? Where it's like, oh, hey, I haven't watched a movie in a while. Because usually when I watch movies, there's background noise. So it's just like play kind of the same thing over and over again. But this is one where I'll sit down and I'll watch it. But we're talking like years in between watches.
Yeah.
Like it stretches. It's not something that I pull out every once in a while. It's a bad movie.
Sure.
But I get a kick out of watching it. And so, yeah, 2.5 for me. It's going to be a long time before I rewatch this movie, but I will rewatch it.
Good for you, buddy. You'll have to text me and let me know if it's still just as good next time you watch it. Yeah, I love it. I'm enjoying the hell out of this fucking topic. So
it's a good one.
I'm glad Charles chose it because I like watching bad movies sometimes that are fun and still have good ones, parts to it, and has Jack Black in it. That's about all I got. But yeah, this has been fun so far. We still got one left. But before we get to that one, I like to tell everybody where they can find us.
Dude, I had so much fun with these outros ever since Rock of Ages. I'm kind of bummed that I missed out on that one. But anyway, here we go. Well, folks. Looks like we've struck gold with another incredible podcast episode. I hope you've enjoyed this treasure trove of laughs and fun. Remember, life is an adventure, and sometimes you got to dive deep to find the real gems.
Oh my God.
So keep that explorer spirit alive and join our favorite patron, Secret Invasion series, seasons 2, 3, and 4. And let the waves of curiosity lead you to the greatest discoveries and voting rights for the podcast.
Mm-hmm.
As we sail off into the sunset, I'll leave you with this. Keep listening, keep learning, and keep chasing that elusive but oh so rewarding fool's gold. All right. With that, I will kick it back to the one and only Maharaja of MASH, Mauling Mastodon, a JJ.
This guy. Well done, sir. That might be your best one yet. I can't wait for the next one. Wow. I got nothing. That was awesome. And with that, we appreciate you tuning in. We'll catch you on the next one.
Hasta la vista, baby.
Cinemagic out.
Whoa!